Hey everyone, Dana with the OT Guide. Today's video is a teacher and parent training on ways to improve handwriting legibility. So we all have those students that write so messy, we have no idea what they're trying to write. Hopefully after watching this video, you'll be able to help them and improve their writing legibility, okay? So this training is in two parts. The first part is letter formation, and the second part is letter sizing and spacing. So let's quickly check out letter formation now. So letter formation is specifically how the student forms the letter and the strokes that they take. So many of my students I get referrals for OT, they have messy handwriting, and I quickly realize it's not because they have some sort of delay, it's because they've just never been taught how to write the letters the correct way. So in general, we want our students to write their letters from the top to the bottom and from the left to the right. And getting our students in these habits early is essential. And by early, I mean kindergarten, first grade is really when we're focusing on letter formation. We can work on it past that, but by then their habits are already formed. So we want to focus on this early on. So if you're a kindergarten teacher, I'm going to show you really quickly an OT approved way to teach the letters. Let's take a look. So the curriculum I use to teach letter formation is Handwriting Without Tears. I highly recommend you check them out if you haven't heard of them. They're an evidence-based handwriting curriculum, and they have a very specific order in which they teach letters. So instead of starting with capital A and going to capital B and C and so on, they actually start with capital F and they go to E, D, P, B, R, N, and M. These are the frog jump letters, and these are the easiest capital letters to learn at first, and they're all formed in a similar way. And then the next letters you go to are corner starters, and then the next letters you go to are center starters. But as you can see, they clump the letters in terms of how each letter is formed. And what this does is it makes them easier to learn, and it's actually going to prevent letter reversals down the line. So let's say as a teacher, you want to teach your class letter F. What you're going to do is you are going to draw squares. You're going to give them a green starting dot, and it's going to start on the top left corner. And you are going to do something like this. Okay, class, repeat after me. Start on the green starting dot, big line down, jump like a frog, little line, and then you're going to do it again. Start on the dot, big line down, jump like a frog, little line. You're going to sound a little bit like a broken record because you're saying the same exact things over and over again to guide your students' movements when forming the letter. So then you can draw squares and you can give green starting dots, and you can have your students practice forming the letter, making sure that they start at the top, making sure they do the correct strokes in the correct sequence. And if they start at the bottom, you fix it. You correct them and you tell them the correct stroke sequencing. If we were just to give them the letter F and have them trace and give them no guidance, what would happen is they would start writing their letters from the bottom to the top. Maybe they'd trace it this way. Maybe they would trace it some other crazy looking way. But then when they go to write letter F, it's gonna be illegible because they were never taught how to write it the correct way. So Handwriting Without Tears has a specific order in which they teach their letters, capitals first, and they have specific things they say when they teach their letters. So I'm going to show you all of the resources, the free resources Handwriting Without Tears has on their website. I'm going to link them in the description of this YouTube so you can click on them and get easy access. Here is the Handwriting Without Tears letter formation chart. So they show you exactly how to form all of your letters, and they show you exactly what you need to say when you're teaching your students those letters. Here is more, here we go. Here is, again, the uppercase letters, the teaching order, and then what you say for each letter. So the first batch of letters are the frog jump letters. So for all of these letters, you're going to say, start on the dot, big line going down, frog jump back up. For F, add a little line, add a little line. For E, add a little line, add a little line, add a little line, and so on and so forth. So what I recommend is having a letter of the week, or maybe having 2 letters of the week, where you focus on the stroke sequencing of just that letter and how to how to develop and form that letter the perfect way. And if you're super creative and you want to add more steps to it, what you can do if you're teachers, you can have table rotation. So you could have, let's say the letter of the week is letter F. You could have one table that works on writing the letter F the correct way. You could have another table that's like a sensory table where students draw the letter F in shaving foam, or they build the letter F with Play-Doh. You could have a fine motor table where the students do a letter F craft. Maybe they make letter F crowns. And then you could have another table where they work on the sound of letter F. So you can be creative with it. But the biggest takeaway is we want our students to form our letters in a specific way, from top to bottom and from left to right. So the next thing I teach is letter sizing and spacing, okay? So this is how I do that. So my first lesson is we go over the sizing of letters. So this is what I do. I make sure all of my students use tri-lined paper. This helps with the sizing of letters. And I write lowercase a, b, and c. And I say, A is a short letter. It sits under the dotted line. B is tall because it touches the top. Is C tall or short? C is short. Nice job. And then I go on to all the letters. D. D touches the top. Is it tall or short? Good. Then I add some hanging letters. So I say, okay, letter G. Letter G is a hanging letter because it has a tail that sits below the line. What kind of letter is Y? Is it tall, short, or hanging? So I spend several lessons going over this concept that letters have different sizes and they sit on different places on the line, okay? My next lesson is I have the students start copying my work. So I will write a word that's all short letters. So I'll write a word like man, okay? And I'll have my student copy that word. But first, of course, while I'm writing it, I quiz them. Is letter M tall, short, or hanging? Good. It's short. A, what about N? Good, it's short. And by the way, I teach them the hand signals that go along with it. So this is tall, this is short, and this is hanging, okay? So I'll say, is M tall, short, or hanging? And then they can do the signals. And then I have them copy the word. If they write the word like this, I'll say, okay, what kind of letter is M? Is it tall, short, or hanging? Good, it's short. It needs to sit under the dotted line. Fix your letter M. The next lesson is I include tall and short letters. So I'll have them copy the word tall. What kind of letter is T? What kind of letter is A? What kind of letter is L? Good. And I'll have them practice writing that. And if they write the letters like this, I'll say, uh-oh, T is a tall letter. It should touch the top. Fix it. And I'll have them fix it and make sure their letter T extends all the way to the top. And then the next thing I do is I have them copy a word with tall, short, and hanging letters. Okay? Once they can copy the words with the correct sizing, I then move on to my next lesson, which is spacing. So I like to use meatball and spaghetti spaces. So I'll write a simple sentence like, let's see. I love dogs. What kind of letter is D? What kind of letter is O? What kind of letter is G? Okay. And then I'll go in and I'll explain, okay, in between our words, we have nice big meatball spaces. Let's draw our meatballs. And I have them go in and color in with another color their meatballs, okay? This helps them with the spacing in between their words. I've found that using meatball spaces and having them go back and draw them is more effective than using like a finger spacer. So that's the next lesson. I'll have them copy very simple sentences. I'll use exaggerated spaces just so they have so they can really see that spaces come between each word, and I have them copy those sentences. The last and final lesson is I teach them about spaghetti spaces. And this is only if they write like this, where their letters are sitting on top of each other, okay? I don't find this to be super common. And if a student writes like this, that's when you explain, okay, in between our words are big meatball spaces, but in between our letters are thin spaghetti spaces. So we need to be able to draw spaghettis in between each letter. Okay, so then I have them get a thin marker and I have them draw spaghettis in between each letter, just to give them more functional spacing. So that's how I go through all of these. And for the meatballs, you can have them draw the meatballs. If you're working on fine motor skills, they can use stickers, whatever you want. You can be as creative as you want. But really, I've found that teaching our students the sizing of letters and teaching them spacing and really reinforcing these ideas over and over and over again, and having them copy my model. And then at the very end, I'll have them close their eyes and I'll quiz them and I'll challenge their memory a little bit. I'll say, okay, close your eyes and picture lowercase letter A. Is it tall, short, or hanging? And we'll go through the whole alphabet and they'll say, okay, letter A, I'm picturing it, it's short. So really, that's it.
So there you have it. I hope you guys learned a lot. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to comment below. I have attached a bunch of free resources in the description of this video, so you'll have access to free tri-lined paper of varying sizes, as well as Handwriting Without Tears worksheets and resources. Obviously, this video goes over just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to handwriting legibility. So if you have a student that you've trialed these strategies with for a while and they're still not benefiting, please make a referral to your occupational therapist. But anyway, I hope you guys like what you saw today. If you did, please subscribe to support my channel, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Bye.